Hey, welcome into Halos in the Infield podcast with your host, Todd Fox, and the other co-host.
Fernando.
And we are obliged and privileged to have Rocks in the outfield here, the podcast. Gentlemen, will you please introduce yourselves?
Carl,
Take it away, baby.
Go ahead.
What's up, guys? This is Carl from Walks in the Outfield. Here with the boys. Happy to be here.
And Max here, Jordan, hanging out. Yeah, you're done. You're done introducing yourself, Mike.
Yeah, I was gonna introduce you too.
No, I'll introduce myself. All right. Yeah, we got Halos in the infield, Rocks in the outfield. We got the whole diamond.
Hell yeah.
Got the whole team here.
Yeah.
Well,
What's going on?
we're here to collab and talk Angels baseball. We're here to just talk it up with you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoy the conversation. We're gonna be talking basically, what the hell's going on with the Angels lately? I want to get their takes on it because they're real fans. This isn't a Halo honk conversation at all. So we are going to get down and dirty with this one if we have to. So who wants to lead off as far as –
Come on. Real quick, Todd, I have to ask, what would Roger Lodge say if you tried calling with the real conversation?
I got to hang up on you guys. If you're not positive, we got to go.
No, he would have said something like, oh, you didn't give me the name of your high school.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is like you guys say real Angel fans. Like I think I should know what Halo honk is, but is that a Roger Lodge thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Roger Lodge.
He just wants you to honk when you leave the stadium or something, or
Something like that. Now that makes sense.
yeah.
It's not even that.
He wants you to kiss his ass about how he used to do blind date, and he wants you to just be positive no matter what. So the team could lose like 10-0, and he'll say, well, remember that in the third inning when they got that hit? That's right.
And you'll play that like hit for like 6 straight hours. Like, wow, what a hit. Ohtani exit velo 115. I'm like, yeah, that's great. We lost.
Yeah.
No, that's great. You don't get points for exit velo, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
I mean, if we did though, we might be doing a little better.
Oh, for sure.
Well, you know what? Absolutely. Let's just change it up real quick. Shohei Ohtani, your thoughts on him, you guys. I want to hear your thoughts about how this dude, is carrying the team. What are your thoughts on him going forward? Into the All-Star break.
I'll kick it off. There's like a million ways to quantify like his success and stuff. And for me and Carl, honestly, we're just like, again, like I've said this a million times, like we're not Angels encyclopedias, right? We're fans. We go drink, we have fun, we try to have a good vibe. And honestly, like he is the #1 vibe guy on the team right now. And like I'm honestly thinking like without him, like if we didn't get him 2-3 years ago, like what is this team looking like? Not only his play on the field, but like his impact off the field of like how many fans he's brought to our stadium, and he's still asking for more to come. I have buddies in New York who like want his jersey, and like it's so crazy where even Trout, the best player in baseball, I never had a buddy in New York ask me for his jersey. Yeah. Now it's Ohtani coming in and people like want his stuff. It's crazy. The grown man, my biological father, could fucking do it all. And it's honestly every time I try to try to say, hey, maybe this is it, this is the peak, and he just keeps doing it. It seems like the best thing to say is like I've run out of words, but it honestly, it's like we have an award on our show called Halo of the Week, and every week it's fucking Shohei Ohtani. Yeah. So it's just like the Shohei Ohtani award, and it's just
how did he win it this year?
It's
how did he win it this week?
Go ahead, Carl.
No, I guess I see it from the perspective of there's 2 ways. The first one is you see this is like the breakout of like Shohei, the personality. So last year obviously didn't go well for him, didn't go well for anyone on the team really, but he was kind of like timid. He's never been a big personality guy. He's never been super outgoing in terms of like today. You saw he get on the bases, point right to the dugout, do his like whatever thing, like he hit the home run, he's rounding first and he's got the finger up. Like he's showing us that he is a guy that can carry the load in terms of like, yo, if these guys are down, because like Iglesias is kind of like that too, Jose, but to see Shohei do that after being so quiet, being so seemingly timid, and we've always heard like him and Fletch have fun, like they mess around and stuff in the dugout and the clubhouse and stuff, but to actually see it translate to the field is super dope for us as a fan base. And another thing, like the second part of that is just I like seeing a guy that's supposed to do well do well. So like we were talking about Detmers in AA, he's killing it. He was supposed to, you know. Shohei came over as this superstar. The Yankees wanted him, the Dodgers wanted him, anyone wanted him that could get their hands on him. He came to us, had all these high expectations, and like I know you've seen he's not going to be more than a high school hitter articles and stupid shit like that. To see him do well in this scope right now is incredible, because not only doing it on a team that has Mike Trout on it, but like in the absence of Trout too, for him to step up, carry the load, literally drag this fucking team across the finish line if he has to.
I agree. Thoughts, Fernando?
Yeah, no, like Max said, and Carlos said, can you imagine like how horrible this team would be if Ohtani like didn't exist?
Yeah.
I mean, well, maybe we'd probably be talking about the first overall pick at this point, because there ain't nothing else. We'd be talking about the stadium being even more empty, because at least we have Ohtani. You know what I mean? It's just a depressing thought to think about. But you guys both just perfect examples of what we were looking for out of an answer. I mean, Shohei Ohtani's been the guy. He's been the dude. He's the reason why we turn on the TV. And if I would have told you guys, you know, like 2014 or 2015, you know, when Trout was like peak Trout, when he had just gotten started, he was kind of the guy in MLB. If I would have told you guys, you know, in a couple of years, Mike Trout's just going to be a dude on the roster, you guys would have been like, no.
Bro, if you would have told me that in April, I would have been like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now Mike Trout, I mean, granted, Mike Trout's hurt, but I guarantee you if Mike Trout was still, you know, being Mike Trout and he was healthy, he still would have just, you know, hey, cool. I mean, Mike Trout's cool and all, but have you seen Shohei Ohtani? Yeah. It's like that meme of like that guy, like walking with his girlfriend, and like there's the girl who's walking past and he's all Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, no, I think that's you know, we kind of got Christmas coming up, because we don't like I don't know, like what's it going to be like if Ohtani's still breaking and then Trout gets back and he gets back to even like half of what he can do. It's going to be, you know, I just think, you know, our big number here is 4. Obviously with the Angels, like they're 35-12 when they score 4 runs. Yeah. And with Trout and Ohtani, I know they've been in games together where they haven't scored 4, but it's hard to see them being in a lineup and not score 4. Like it's crazy. So.
And they really have.
I mean, especially with Walsh still producing. I mean, those 3 guys alone is enough to get you 4 runs.
And they really have a healthy lineup all year. And you know, if you would place those top 5 together, being Upton, who's been just killing it as leadoff, have Walsh and Ohtani, Trout, and I'm escaping. One's escaping, but just basically the lineup, the first 5.
Sure.
Yeah.
Rendon.
Suzuki.
Rendon, yeah.
So Rendon. This guy.
First 5, if they can get going and stay healthy in there, you know, like this team could score, like you said, over 4 runs easy. And then you got Statsy and Iglesias on the back end. You know, things could work, but we just haven't seen that. And the pitching, as bad as it was, it's come together. And I like what Max said earlier about, you know, or Carlos, I'm sorry, about pointing to the you know, Ohtani's being very present as far as being upbuilding and stuff, and the chemistry. You saw a lot of that with all the players in the first 10 games, but that has really faded away as the season has progressed. And Ohtani's been one of the few guys on the team that's been keeping it up, like you mentioned, Iglesias too. And we're hoping that they can get back into that, because that breeds winning. You see what's happening in San Diego. Yeah. I mean, they have like, I was watching a Dodger game and they had like 10 different handshakes before the dude got to Tatis got to the dugout. Yeah. Like, damn, dude, you know, I wish we had that. They have a, you know, and everything. It's like, wow. But
that's the thing I was thinking with the Angels. I was like, they don't really have, like, I don't know if it's an Angels Artie Moreno memo where they're just like, hey, tone it down, don't showboat. But it's like, we had Dexter Fowler earlier this season where he was kind of, you know, he was like he was out there.
Yeah, he was trying
out there all the time. And I'm like drawing blanks on like when's like, you know, some guy to fucking dab on or something on the you know, hit a home run and celebrate. Like we just don't see that as Angel fans. Like, and Ohtani, you know, you see the Dodgers get a fucking bunt single and they're fucking like this every fucking thing. It's fucking we need someone on the Angels to, you know, and Ohtani's kind of doing it, but it's like I don't know if it's a memo or, you know, a policy or something, but it needs to change.
And I think I also think like the absence of Trout has obviously forced Ohtani into kind of like, given like he may not have even wanted it, but like a leadership role in a sense where it's like, yo, this team is looking to somebody to. It's been Mike Trout the last 10 years carrying it, like team on his back. this team needs someone to lead them. It doesn't seem like there's that many alpha presences on the team. Yep. It's all kind of like not enough, too many Indians kind of thing, you know? Yep. So to see Shohei like in this scope, I don't think Mike has played with him, like with this version of Shohei. So if he comes back, he starts doing his thing again, and you still have freaking point to the dugout, do your dance, whatever, Shohei, like fucking, like that's all we really could ask for, you know?
Yeah, and my question to you guys here too is, you know, like the way that this team has been put together, you know, Alex Cobb, we were talking prior to the show, he actually was the one that called a players only meeting. We heard about it 2 weeks later. And I don't know if that's right with you guys, or if it sits right with you guys, that Alex Cobb is on a 1-year deal. Yes, he's a veteran. Is he really the guy that you want calling the players only meeting, knowing that he's only here for a year? I mean, wouldn't you want one of the guys that maybe has a 10-year, or like a Shohei? I know he could talk 3 languages, but he's not always comfortable talking English.
Yeah.
But someone else, you would think, right? Who do you think is the real leader on this club, if there is one?
Dan, yeah, that's tough to say. I think it's obviously Trout, and it's hard to, you know, you come onto this team in March and you're in a clubhouse with Trout. It's kind of, you know, he's the big fish. You really don't want to come in here, step on anyone's toes and stuff. And nobody saw things go. Nobody in April could have told me you're going to miss Trout for 8 weeks. You're going to, you know, injury, Fowler ACL, all this stuff. Like nobody could have predicted that. And then I get into some heat saying like, hey, Rendon's got to do this. And it's just like, it's hard to tell people what they should and shouldn't do.
Yeah.
But I mean, Cobb, we saw a little bit of like, to me, he seems like a psycho, a guy I wouldn't want to fight. A psycho in like a good way.
Yeah.
Like he's a good psycho. I don't want to fight him.
Like bite your ear off.
Who was the guy? He was talking to a guy in second. He's like, I see you. Like you're trying to steal signs. Like, fuck you, I see you.
Yeah.
So you kind of see some of that fire out of Cobb. But I mean, like we're like, and again, it's all closed doors. I don't know. I don't have any inside sources, whatever. But like, I think it's got to be like Upton, Heaney. Like I need bats thrown in the dugout. I need helmets bounced off the ground. I need equipment thrown. I need something. I just can't, like, they're just so used to like, you know, workout at 9, meeting at 10, workout at 5, lose at 7, dinner. It's like, it's just in their schedule. It's just in their routine. And like you said it earlier that Rendon's probably like the next full host, quote unquote. Like that's the rumor. I'm not gonna let that happen. I will bug them for autographs every day and then sell those autographs and give that money back to the team, like somehow just to try to work it back in. I don't think we can have another veteran guy just rake us for a check over and over. Like if that is the case, but I'm not gonna let it happen.
I hope not, because it's been you know, he was a guy that came in here, like, again, Fernando was talking about it earlier, that there was a what is it called, he had this mindset of not really being all into baseball in itself, and it was kind of, he's like, oh man, it's kind of a red flag. But the fact that, you know, he is a dominant player, he did really good with the Nationals, we thought he'd carry that over here, but he just hasn't put it together or fit in our opinion, you know. And that's the
Yeah. I just think it's tough when you got a ring and you got a fat bank account.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's like Garrett Anderson type. Like he's never like there's that famous video. It's like a TikTok or something, but he makes this incredible play, diving play to the left. He gets up, whole crowd goes nuts, and then he's just standing there. Like he's not even can't even get like a chest
stone face, just
so I understand everyone that's like, oh, this motherfucker needs to care. He needs to try. He needs to, like, we've seen him lately kind of get into it with the umpires a little bit and like chirping and whatnot. But like, I get where people want the fire. They want like Patrick Sandoval today screaming into his glove.
Yes.
That's what they want. They want something like that. And I get it. I mean, we as fans are like, yo, give me a reason to root for you. Not because I'm always going to root for the team. Give me a reason to root for you, the player.
Yeah. Good point. I mean, do you guys see Andrew Heaney like that too? Like very, very less, very short on emotion.
I think it's harder.
Tough guy.
I think it's just hard. I mean, the guy's been through so much. Like, you know what I mean? Like with, you know, Skaggs, and I think he was boys with Trout's brother-in-law. Like he's just been through. I want him to do so good because he's been through so much. Mm-hmm. And you know, he's worked his way up to. I get like he should be the pitching captain. I get if that we can make that title up. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think I'm kind of shocked Upton's not throwing bats. You know, he don't have much time left. I don't know what he's just playing for a check, then that's fine. But if he wants to win, he doesn't have much time left. I don't know why he's not flipping out or something. So, or maybe they are. We just don't see it.
Yeah, maybe.
Closed door meetings are a big part of it. That we, closed door meeting, we don't hear about it till 2 weeks after.
Yeah, but the problem is if it's happening, it's not translating to the field. That's where the problem is. It's like, I'm glad if it's happening. If they're having these conversations, if Upton's in there for telling them like, yo, get it together, whatever, screaming and shit, that's cool. But then like it has to translate to the field, because at that point it's just all boy who cried wolf type shit.
Yeah.
Could you guys imagine like a situation where like Ohtani's like in there like getting animated, yelling Japanese, and then Ippei comes in here and like nicely translates?
Like, well, guys,
that's like such a funny image. Just like Ohtani. I mean, Ohtani's a big dude.
yeah.
So I would imagine like when he yells, it's probably like forceful, but then Ippei is like, like basically David Fletcher.
Yeah.
Kind of like when he throws 100 and he gives like the
I don't think he could do any wrong, and I think he has so much respect that he'd never even like. In my mind, I don't know. Again, closed doors, we don't know, but I can't imagine him like doing anything slightly even disrespectful.
I can't imagine like anybody though, like ever like not listening to him though. Like, could you imagine a situation where like a guy like Ohtani like speaking and people are like, "What do you have to say, bro?" It's like he's basically Jacob deGrom and Mike Trout had a baby.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he can pitch like deGrom,
yeah.
he can hit bombs like Mike Trout, or like actual good Albert Pujols, not Angel Albert Pujols.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm not talking about Dodger Albert Pujols either.
Yeah,
It pisses me off more than those people who are like, "Oh my God, he's doing so well in the Dodgers." I'm like, dude, his stats are like the same as Taylor Ward, and nobody's trying to kiss his ass.
Yeah,
pretty much. Do you guys have a problem with the coaching staff?
It just not necessarily a problem. Like, I think obviously Joe Maddon's resume like speaks for itself. We do have like obviously a running joke, the Joe Maddon experience. Where it is kind of like, bro, like what, like it's like the van and all that stuff. Like, it's cool when you're winning, but it's like when we're fucking losing 5-0, I don't give a fuck about what kind of shaggy carpet you have in your van. Like, and it just almost relates to like, get your shit done and then act however the fuck you want. Like, these guys are millionaires. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's so frustrating to see like 60 lineups from last year.
Yeah.
And my thing is like, bro, if we're winning, then like, yeah, show off your Cal State Fullerton band, and then you could be quirky and you could do whatever. But it's just kind of like when you're losing kind of magnifies everything. And I just think I don't have a problem with it, but it's like, what are we going to do? Like, who are we going to get that's not already there? The Dick Pick Mick stuff earlier in the year, like obviously not cool with that. Like, was he a decent pitching coach? Like, maybe just too horny to be on the team. Like that might have hurt us. You know what I mean? I don't really like how Matt Wise looks. I don't know how he coaches, but just a vibe thing. Like, I'm not a big. Maybe because he's coming out when we're losing, but well, that's it is what it is. That's
what I think. Me and Fernando want to ask you guys is thoughts on basically these two, three coaches in general, and that is not Dick Picks, Matt Wise, Paul Sereno, and the other hitting coach, which we have two, by the way, Jeremy Reed. Do you think that they are not doing enough to challenge these players in game to mix things up? Like, I've seen other coaches reach for tablets and school guys in the dugout, and I don't see that with the Angels.
No. To make it worse, you see it with the Angels, but the coaches are never there. You see like Ohtani
that's true.
watching a tablet by himself. It's like,
yeah.
I'm not saying Ohtani's not the kind of guy who's like, no, leave me alone. But it's like, you're the hitting coach. Like, force him to be like, no, bro, your toe tap, your timing was off. Like, force yourself in there. It's literally your job. Because
the only guy we ever see that's using a tablet and actually being with the players is Jose Molina. Other than that, they really don't have anybody, like, it seems like, that's hands-on during games to help the players adjust, because the other teams seem to be adjusting to us. We're not adjusting to them. And I think that's where a lot of these zeros come up from us on, hitting wise, and then pitching. They don't adjust to what the hitters are doing. If they're patient that given night, if the strike zone's kind of off, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a team swing through more down the middle. I mean, watch more down the middle of like first pitch fastballs. I understand you want to be patient, you want to work the count. Mm-hmm. It's like, bro, were you going to wait for a nasty splitter in the dirt to try to get your hit. You know, like it drives me nuts.
Yeah, they like to do it with 2 strikes.
Yeah,
dude. That's what I'm like. I get
I think
your approach. It has to be different each time, but it's like, dude, it's a fastball down the middle. Like you tell anyone the first pitch they learn how to hit is how to hit a fastball. You know?
yeah.
I just think at this level, like they're all pros. Like like the coaches should really be there for like experience and morale. Like it's not really like, hey, Mike Trout, you're gonna swing. Like, yeah, tweak some things, but I don't know. I think in the Matt Wise, like when we see him, it's a bad like time. Obviously, like it's bases or it's a jam or something. So I think we're just like, no matter what, I think we're just going to be trained till we see Matt Wise. It's like instantly bad because we don't want to see him because if we're looking at him like something's bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's just it's weird with like the whole LaRussa thing. Like last year he was in there and now he's gone, and I don't know. I don't think inserting new people kind of changes things drastically, but maybe it is like I think it's more of like a relationships thing. Like if you're comfortable with your coach, you probably want to do better if you're cool with your boss, you're going to work harder, right? If you hate your boss, you're not going to want to work as hard. I don't know. I think that these guys are all pros. They've all been playing baseball forever, and I think it's kind of like there's no just keep it simple kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it's just I don't know. Yeah. However I feel about the coaching staff, it's like whoever we get next year or the year after, like I don't think it's like football where you bring in a new coach and things change year after year. Like, I don't really know what they can kind of do. Like these guys are all pros and they already have their shit worked on. They all train individually. Like, I don't know. The Mickey Callaway probably the worst thing, but yeah.
I think there's like something to be said. Obviously, I'm praying for the guy's success. I would like nothing more, but there's something to be said about Joe Maddon leaving in the Cubs powerhouse now. So. Mm-hmm. Like it sucks to see that, and then it's basically the same roster he had when he was there. Guys don't leave for no reason. Like Sosha, people are like, "Oh, you should have stayed." Like there was time, bro. Like it was, off like that was like a weird situation. But like, I mean, I don't know if you guys are too into football, but like when a big play happens, the head coach comes right to the guy and like grabs his helmet and he's like in his face, like telling him how good he did or whatever. I never see Joe Maddon like he's just sitting there. He just seems like he has smartest guy in the room syndrome, and it could work sometimes, but like it bites him in the ass way too many times. Like how many times are you gonna bat Renjifo's second? He's hitting like 185.
So Carlos, do you think that there is any chance or any need to replace any of these coaches, such as a hitting coach, pitching coach at this moment? Because I know Max was saying about not wanting to change every year. It's not like the NFL. Maybe that's not the answer, but do you think for the Angels, maybe it could be the answer with a new GM?
I think it's still very early. I know the leash is probably a little shorter for Maddon, given that he's had so much success in the past with other teams. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's probably like, hey man, you did this with Tampa, you did this with Chicago. Like, if you really are as good as everyone thinks, as you say, like you have the generational talent, 2 generational talents on the same team.
Yeah.
I know it seems Perry is kind of, it's still, like I said, very early because his first season is going to be his first trade deadline coming up. But I think it's going to tell a lot about what we have in terms of like upper management and whatnot with how they approach the trade deadline. Because if they burn it down, sell like all of the guys, then that tells you like, all right, we're obviously like reeling it in. But I mean, if they're aggressive, they go get a pitcher that obviously like Scherzer would be great, but like just even someone that's serviceable, someone that can kind of be put in there, someone that has a little fight. Like we've seen trade deadline acquisitions take guys into like playoff runs, Yeah. So obviously we're going to get Trout back around the All-Star break, hopefully. And yeah, I mean, if the coaches, I don't know if there's a coaching problem yet. Staff's still super, super new. Like Max said, Matt Wise is kind of weird looking, but they've been pitching a little bit better lately. So, I mean, hey, you could look like a fucking turtle for all I care if our guy's got sub 3 ERAs,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Because right now, I mean, the team is, I know they've moved up in the standings as far as team ERA at the lowest of lows. I know it's settled down a bit via bullpen and starters, but the hitting is bad too. The walks, we're dead last in walks, plate discipline, and we're up there as far as top 5 in strikeouts. So I mean, that's, to me, I did research with Fernando the other day, and when we were looking at a 2016 roster, I didn't know Paul Sorrento was a hitting coach back then, you know? And so it's like, man, we've continued to trend, you know, and so so Fernando, your thoughts on that too? I mean, do you think that there's a freaking change needed for?
You know, we have to kind of give Matt Wise kind of like a free pass this year. He wasn't supposed to be the pitching coach. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like when your manager quits in the middle of a lunch rush at Taco Bell. Well, what can you do? You're just kind of like, all right, well, you're in, Ricky.
Yeah.
He's like, what? So, I mean, same thing with Matt Wise. You kind of got to give him a free pass. But, I mean, the hitting has obviously been, I think, one of the most frustrating things. You know, I mean, Max Stassi a couple of days ago swings ball 4, ball 5. It's like, come on, man, what are you doing?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, where's the pitch selection? You know, everyone knew he was going to throw the fastballs up in the zone. I mean, Todd said on the postgame that night, he had the 3 straight fastballs up in the zone.
Yeah.
They were all balls.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, why are we not picking up on these kind of tendencies? Carl, you said all the first pitch fastballs right down the middle. It's like, what are you waiting for? Mm-hmm. It's like, why are we not picking up on this kind of stuff? And that's where my frustration comes, especially with the hitting coaches. Like I said, Matt Wise, whatever, bro. He's probably not going to be around next year. But, you know, Paul Sorrento especially, he's been around for so long. Something's got to change. Something's got to give.
Yeah, and I almost feel like if you don't know the name of your coaches, it's a good thing, because it's like an umpire. The only reason you know an umpire's name is if he fucking sucks. So,
yeah.
Like, if I don't know any of if I don't know the pitching coach's name, but we have a great team ERA, we have a great lead the league in strikeouts, whatever, like, I'm totally fine with that, you know. Yeah. But we know all these guys' names because of their shortcomings.
And I think, like, as a podcast that we promote to people who don't I don't want to know the hitting, like, unless it's an ex-player, right? Yeah. Unless it's like fucking, I think Pujols is going to step in a couple of years after he's done playing to support the team. Like, our podcast is like, we're trying to take baseball, chop it up, and make it, you know, feedable to our coworkers that we're in office jobs and they have other hobbies and they like other things. It's not like the NFL. I don't need to know assistant coach. I don't need to know coordinators. I don't like Carl said, if I know your name, like, that's bad. Like, I don't want to know it.
Yeah.
If I know your name, it's because you're sending dick pics. Like, I don't need to know.
Everyone knows Mickey Callaway.
Yeah.
Now some Angel fans, you know, some of the diehard, whatever they want to call themselves, like, they probably shaking their head and being like, you don't even know this. You're like, I don't want to know. I don't care that I like the team. I'm not buying a hitting coach's jersey. So it's like, I think Carl's right.
Sounds like your problem.
I don't want to know their name. I don't want to know their name. Like, no.
Okay. Fair enough. And well, getting with football real quick, we had this discussion, me and Fernando. Obviously, you guys are football fans too. That play where Lagares was thrown out at home. You know, in the NFL, it's always irrefutable evidence if the play is called one way. Yeah. It's got to be irrefutable to reverse the call. In your minds as football fans, seeing that play from only 2 angles that they gave us, one being it looked like he was out, one being he looked like he was safe, was that safe or out to you guys? Honest opinions.
No, I mean, that was the year the Seahawks and Packers ended the game with the Packers intercepted it, but the Seahawks caught the guy.
The failed area, yeah.
Hey, that's my team, man. Leave them alone, dude. I'm gonna see it.
It's just that, like, where, I mean, I saw him steal home, and would I have liked for him to slide head first? Like, yes, and be outside, slide head first. Don't even get near fucking Posey. I mean, that was a really, like, and then there was like some Angels account like, hey, nice tag by Buster. Like, I'm like, or not that, but they complimented something else, and I was like, hey, like, why don't you just compliment Buster Posey's tag? Like, it was so close that you, like, I don't know how they did that. I don't know if they needed overtime, like they need to put in my overtime hours, but that was the most, like, hey, we're ready to go home, wrap it the fuck up call of all time. and they just passed it. They said, no, I need the overtime hours. Like, we're going to take this another couple innings. I'm obviously really biased. People were saying he's out by a mile. To me, like,
Yeah.
I think he was out. The call on the field was safe. You can't change that with what we saw, but they did. So, I mean,
That's
what are you gonna do?
Ask you. What do you think? Same thing, Carlos, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like in football, like you said, if you say it's a first down and then it's questionable, you called the first down on the field. You can't, like, if there's any doubt in your mind that, because I bet you 4 of those umpires, 2 of them are like, oh, he was safe. The other 2, nah, he was out.
Yeah.
If there's any doubt in your mind about what the call should be, you have to go with the one that you initially called. That's what I think, because you can't.
For sure.
Dude, we all saw the final Angels 3-2. Like,
Yeah.
it literally was
Yeah.
like it was written in stone. And I mean, for it to go down like that, and then obviously we saw what happened, 7 runs, top of the 13th.
13th, yeah.
Like, I mean, it obviously it sucks for it to go down like that, but if you really are preaching as the MLB, you're preaching that you're holding umpires accountable. You have this new technology. You're going to go to robo umps, whatever. Like, little shit like that can't happen to affect the outcome of the game the way it did.
Exactly. Thoughts, Fernando?
I think correct. Like, if that's in the 6th inning, that's fine. But it's like it's bottom of the 10th. Like, come on.
Exactly. Thoughts, Fernando, on that one?
Yeah, I think you and I already touched on it, and we basically said the exact same thing. It's like, there wasn't, it wasn't painfully obvious that he was out or safe, but you had to go with the initial call, right? I mean, there wasn't enough evidence to not go to change the call, in my opinion, but not our job, right? So they thought otherwise, and
we could probably do it better than they do, but
yeah.
I mean,
dude, we were talking about remember so earlier in the season they were in Houston and Jason Castro from the Astros hit that ball that was like about a 1.5 foul, and they were like, fair ball.
yeah,
and everyone's like, what are you talking about? And that photo was like all over Twitter, like that it was a foul ball. It's like, how come we can see this like from my smartphone?
yeah.
And these guys who have all this technology in New York, can't figure it out. It's like, what are you guys doing?
You're saying that's where they have fucking NASA. Like, we can't get a direct overhead shot.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
They have jumbotrons, drones, everything, and then they're still messing up the calls. And it just seems like
but you could get the perfect call with your smartphone.
Yeah.
With your iPhone. That's all you need.
We're just seem to be that snake bitten team this year. Do you guys see a run in this team at all? If say, for instance, when Trout comes back, or maybe there's something that a fight, maybe, but with another team, maybe gels this team together or something, because there just seems to be something missing. Do you guys think that, that there's a point in this season where we can at least get into the wild card? Because right now, I don't know about you guys, but that division looks really far away now.
I think it comes down to tomorrow. Tomorrow is the start of the biggest series of the season. Like, that's going to be our biggest competition for wild card. Like, if we're going to try to make a push in the wild card, it's the teams that are in front of us. That's the Yankees, like the Red Sox kind of flirt with it back and forth. Like, the AL East is obviously good, but like I think the division is too, like, Houston's playing too fucking good, dude.
Yeah.
And like, it drives me crazy to give them any credit, but it's like they're like 20 out of their last 25 or something nuts like that.
Yep.
Yeah. They can do no wrong, really.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it's like we got to do good. It can't be we got to wait on Houston to lose. I think, look, the team that the Angels are, and it's almost like I'm going to make a horrid comparison because I hate the Dodgers. The Angels-Dodgers are the same team. The Dodgers just play the Diamondbacks and Rockies 25 times. The Angels are going to beat up on shitty teams, and then they're going to, do what they did this weekend against Tampa against good teams. Like, should they have won yesterday? Maybe. Should they have won like they won today? Should they have won yesterday? Like, yeah, probably. And like sometimes it happens. It's like we get there's been games this year against like good teams that we squeak into, and like you said, the Castro foul ball, or like I can't think of another one, but like the A's game, like it was 4-0, then 8-4.
Yep.
They're gonna compete with good teams, and then we're gonna get like 11-3 when we play the Tigers. And I'm not a big math guy, but there's more bad teams than there's good teams. There's only 12 playoff teams. There's 18 remaining. They just have to, like, our schedule's not doing us any favors, really. Even the Mariners, who are third, they're like really fucking good. But what we need to do is like when we need to like take care of business. When we play the Rockies, we got to sweep. When we play the Tigers, we had to sweep. We didn't. I just think it's going to come down. It's going to be close. I think get Trout back, and hopefully that amps it up a little bit to like where we take 2 out of 3 instead of 1 out of 3 this series.
Mhm.
But then again, like our schedules, we don't really have that many favors. It's like the A's. If we play the A's 3, like I'm thinking like we need 1. If we play the Astros 3, I'm thinking we need 1. If we play in 4, like a split would be great. But we kind of got to break through that barrier when we play in 4 times. I got to be like, hey, we need 3. Like I'm comfortable with 3 out of 4 here. It's the nature of the beast, man. I think honestly, if we played the Diamondbacks and Rockies 25, 40 times this year, I think it'd be like a 750 win percentage. But it's just it's the way things are. We got to play the Astros, we got to play the A's, and it's almost like I kind of want to start a thing where like you're saying we can't make the playoffs, like motherfucker, our whole season is playoffs because we just play fucking playoff teams in our division like all year. Like, and I know it's like nobody wants a participation award, but it's just like, look, man, we'd make it too if we played the fucking Nats fit. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're playing playoff teams in June. Like we're not, what it is. It's tough now. And I just think it should lighten up when we get Trout back and things start getting going. I just think we got to be consistent and beat the teams we got to beat. And then, if we kind of got to be realistic too, like, I think this team's going to come out and shock the fans. They're going to get 3 out of 4 from the Yankees, I think, and that's going to kind of kick us on a fucking run. I had sent a tweet about a month ago saying just stay at 500, get Trout back, call Adele up, and then from that point just get champagne. And like we're right around 500 for as bad as this team has been and all the injuries and stuff. Like it's not bad, but also I'm not dropping confetti just because we're 500.
Yeah,
it's kind of just for damage control. So.
I think to go along with that, if the hitting can get anywhere consistent, like you said, because that's been the biggest problem. If the hitting can get going at all, get guys on base, we score runs, the pitching is actually falling into place. The bullpen's looking a little bit better. Guys that we used to shit on and laugh at are kind of doing their job a little bit better now. And if that can continue, like you said, the hitting gets a little injection of something, we start getting, because our thing is we're not putting enough traffic on the bases. Sometimes we'll go 3 innings and just put up zeros completely. Nobody gets on. It's just 1, 2, 3s. So if they're starting to pressure, I think that's going to help this team out so much more. It's going to give pitchers an opportunity to go out there and say, well, hey, they didn't score, but they had the bases loaded. They'll get them next time, and they go out there and they get a run or two. They give the pitcher more confidence. I think it all works together, and they just haven't had that this year.
It was funny because before the season, I was saying like, we're going to have to win every game 11-10 the way our pitching is. And it's like, no, we need to win every game 4-3. Like we can't, we can't put up runs, and then our guys are finally, you got Sandoval, like, I think his pitch count got a little high. But he gave us 5. I think he had like a no-hitter through like 5, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he gave up the bomb. So it's like, bro, that's you're telling me my starting pitcher is going to go 5 innings, no hit ball, and you can't give him 2 runs? Like,
yeah.
And like, I don't know, like it probably, like Bundy, you look at Bundy, he hasn't been the same. He's been a shell of what we saw last year, but it's a kick in the nuts for him to go out and throw 6 innings, 7 innings of 2-run ball, and he gets 1 run of run support. Like, what do you want him to do there? He can't go up and hit for himself, like. So it's shitty. It's really like, and then I don't know, like there's so many ways you could spin it because like this is a good team. This is a team that could make a run in the playoffs. It's just about putting little things together. And it's like when we're hitting, our pitchers are also giving up 10 runs. Like when we're not hitting, like, you know what I mean? Like our pitchers are throwing gems. So it can't just be like we luck into a good team win.
Yeah, Fernando always jokes around that we're consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
So.
There's just not many teams that can lose their best player, have this many injuries, and keep their head like semi above water. I know being at a 490 something win percentage isn't really above water, but I mean the we're competing with like the Giants. Like that game was competitive, and it was our ace on the mound versus their ace, and that was a competitive game. And we're missing our best player. That's what kind of gives me hope You know what I mean? The Tuesday 5-0 game is kind of just like, fuck it, whatever. You guys didn't have it tonight, whatever. The next day, how they answer to that, and they just come out and they're competitive against one of the best teams in the NL, it's just bottling that up and making it consistent. This week's going to be fun, man. We're going to find out a lot. And, even if we go 2-2, it's not the end of the world. But I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to find out what this team has, and all without its best player, so.
Fernando, you got thoughts on that one?
Yeah, man. I mean, this Angels team has been one of those teams that always has a run in them, at least the way we like to think about it. But I mean, hasn't that been the same song and dance for the last 5-6 years? This team has a run in it. This team has a run in them, and it just hasn't happened yet. Yeah. And the biggest frustrating thing this year has been, the games where we're winning by like 10 runs, that's when the bullpen blows it. But the games where we're losing by 2 runs, the bullpen's like, oh, everyone's going to do their job today. And then the offense isn't going to done. It's just like, it's one or the other. It's never like, nothing ever clicks on all cylinders. You know what I mean? Raisel Iglesias has to come in with bases loaded in the 8th inning to get 7 outs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Raisel's kind of been an unsung hero this year. I don't think he's getting enough credit. I mean, he's the reason we've won a lot of these games, because he's actually come in and, nailed the coffin.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if we didn't have him as a closer right now? We're having a completely different conversation.
Yeah, this team's worse off.
Couldn't imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
And you mentioned this too, Max, about the Dodgers, and I hate bringing them up too. I think we're all in agreement we hate them. But
F the Smurfs.
Yeah, the thing is though, this is the first year they've been challenged in that division. They got 2. Giants came out of nowhere this year. Padres are really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, for those years they made the runs to the playoffs, their division was basically giving them a free pass to the postseason every year.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas the Angels, they've had to deal with Oakland always being Oakland, and Houston coming out of nowhere since they came out of the NL. And Seattle has always given us problems. And Texas is that little redheaded stepchild that every now and then will hit you with a brick in the back of the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just our division's always been hard and difficult, and that's not like an excuse or nothing. But like you said, when you're able to beat up on teams over and over, the Colorados, the Arizonas, the Giants, the Padres, it doesn't matter what you do in the Central and the East. And so you can get the bulk of your wins in division. Angels haven't been able to capitalize on that because their division's too hard.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, if you put us in another division, we're like probably a playoff team, like the NL East, the AL Central. If we're in like either of those divisions for whatever reason, we're a playoff team almost every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, it's all excuses, but I think that just makes us tougher, and it gives testament to, I'm not here to give out participation awards, but I know a lot of, teams who like, or a lot of fans who like teams that are, they're winning, they're making the playoffs. And if their team wasn't, they probably wouldn't be watching, so a lot of testament to, you guys, and it is a participation award, but I mean, you're here when this team's not winning, and it's not going to be like that forever. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it is what it is. So I'm not worried about, I already know that the Dodgers are cooked. Like they're just, there's no way you can't tell me that's even from like when they made it to the World Series and stuff, like they play a good team, they get shellacked, like there's no way. So we got that to look.
They won't win it this year. They won't win it this year.
No, they can't do it in 162. That's what we always mess with the fans, because we call it the exhibition season last year, and Dodger fans I think they're too proud to admit it, because they're still fighting with the Astros from 2017. So if you really truly believed you won last year, you would put that in the background. Because for me as a Seahawks fan, if we win a Super Bowl this year, I don't care about not running the ball from the 1 yard line. That's a distant memory.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
But the Dodgers, they can't get over that, because they know last year was a sham.
Yeah, they know. They wouldn't be bringing it up. They would be saying, "Oh no, we're World Series champ."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I used to go, not pretty hard, but I used to go like, I wouldn't let anything pass my radar. If I saw something, I'm tweeting it. Now it's almost like they just embarrass themselves at this point. They put it on a tee for themselves, and the fights every fucking night. It's just like now I just kind of feel bad, and I honestly like if you have kids and you go to that stadium, like good luck, So
yeah, and that's with a shitload of security and police. We have old people doing our games. They have actual police officers and still having fights. So
crazy.
Any other questions you have for these guys, Fernando?
One thing that Todd and I had talked about was we wanted to get your opinion because you guys are tell how it is. You guys are those kind of fans, and I want to know, in your opinion, what's been the Angels' problem for the last 6-7 years? Since about 2015. It's just been a dollar short, a day late has been our story. So, what do you guys really think? I know, Mac, you said you're pretty new to hardcore following the team. So, what's been you guys' perception on what's going wrong? Is this just a personnel issue or is this a deeper issue? Is this an Artie Moreno thing?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely starts with Artie. I think it's a multitude of things. Obviously, you can't just pin it on a bad owner because there's teams with bad owners that do well. But I certainly don't think it's talent, right? It's just management of talent. And honestly, it might be, I make this joke a lot, but it's the team is a tax write-off at the end of the day. It's not Artie Moreno. He left the game in the fifth inning. Like he left the game early this year. And it's like, you don't do that if you like, there's very many little things I own, but what I do own is like, I see it through and I'm not a gajillionaire or whatever.
And you take pride in it, I'm sure.
It has to, like, it just has to be a culture problem. It has to be like, even no matter how good a fucking Chipotle is with bad management, it's not going to be good. Like, I don't care what you're putting in there. Like, it just doesn't work like that. So it has to be a culture problem. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not worried about the stadium being empty because it's a bad product, right? Like, you see the videos of 2014, that shit's packed to the brim.
Yep.
2002, packed to the brim. Like, any team that wins, a lot of people, and we don't, like, it's not a bad thing. It's not whatever, but it's like when a team is doing good, like, people are going to go. There's a lot of people on the fence of like, why the fuck would someone go if they're not a diehard fan? Why the fuck would they go on a Tuesday night at 7? They have jobs at 8. They have other things to do. Like, why would they go? I guarantee you, if the Dodgers weren't consistently beating the shit out of these other teams, like, that stadium would also be not full on a Tuesday. If they were, let's say they were the Rockies the past few years, like, that stadium's not full. Like, I don't care what you're putting. If you put a bad product, people aren't going to come. I don't know. It's tough to say, and we can all speculate and say this, that, and the other thing. To me, it's a culture thing, and I've heard Joe Maddon try to change it, but it's also I don't know what you do. You throw money at it. You do. I don't know. Like, it's just I know what me and Carl are trying to do is we're trying to change the vibes, and we're trying to make it fun, and should be a fun and exciting place, and trying to make it what my goal is, and I tag Carl, me and him are like tag team in this, is like, if someone says something negative about the Angels, like, it's just, that's not going to slide. Like, the Angels are like our brother. Like, you talk shit on, like, we could talk shit on our brother, but as soon as you do, like, then it's going to be like, hey, look, you better have all your, like, you better be a gajillionaire, you better be the most handsome motherfucker, you better have no flaws, because if you say something about the Angels negatively, like, then Carl, I, or whoever follows us is going to be like, hey, look, dude, like, we're going to come at you, baseball, not baseball, whatever. It's not going to be a fun time for you, and you're going to second guess thinking like, hey, I'm going to talk bad about the Angels. So it's a small snowflake that'll turn into an avalanche eventually. And
I think
I'm thinking it's
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I'm done.
No, I just think like you're back to your initial question about like what do we think is wrong. I think it comes down to like a lack of urgency. Like my girl has her nephew, he's like 3 or 4 years old, and he has this thing. I don't know why he says it, but he always says, like, you ask him a question and he'll be like, maybe next year. And like, that's literally been the Angels every single year. Like, we signed Mike Trout to the extension, whatever. He's going to be Angel for life. That's great. Nothing has come from like year after year of him. It's like, we're going to have the most MVPs in a 10-year span if Ohtani wins it this year.
Yeah.
And we haven't gone anywhere with it. We haven't made a run. We haven't done like, so we can't keep saying like, all right, we'll get it together next year. Hopefully Perry makes it work in the off season. Hopefully Artie does this and this. Like, you see the Clippers, you see Steve Ballmer at every game losing his fucking mind, like cheering. He's basically like one of the guys, like if we don't have that from he's literally the guy that owns the team. Like, if you don't take care of your car, like, who's going to take care of your car for you? You don't take it to get an oil change. You don't get it washed. Like, who the fuck is going to get it washed for you? So it's the same thing with the team. it starts from the top. If you don't care about the team, you don't care about what's going on in the inner workings, and you don't care about making the fans happy, how do you expect people to support you? It's like the Dan Snyder in Washington football team.
Yeah.
So it's just literally one thing after another that's wrong with that. And then with that team and the organization, and like, yeah, they had their little run last year, but that's not built for long-term success. You know, like you have to, yeah, it comes a time where Artie has to look himself in the mirror, and he's not going to, but like, yeah, maybe I'm in this for the wrong reasons. Maybe I should sell the team. Maybe I should and I don't know, in a perfect world that happens. We get an owner that's super passionate, an owner that's local would help, you know, comes to the games. He's in there, he's shooting the shit with like Gooby and Moda. Like you could just tell, dude, like the stadium when you're there, like I don't know how many games you guys have gone to this year, but like it feels different now that everyone's back from COVID and stuff. But like it's like deflating sometimes when it's 5-0, when it's like, oh, here comes this to fuck it off. Like Cishek the other night, bases loaded, hits a guy, and then we lose by 1.
Yeah.
Like, dog, like you can't keep doing this and expect your fans like us that ride for this team will do anything for this team to still pay their dollars, still pay $150 for a jersey, you know, pay $20 for a beer. Like, yeah, I'll gladly do that if you're showing me that you're actively working towards bettering this situation. And I mean, I hope, it seems like Perry's kind of in that frame of mind. He wants to make it work, but you can only do so much as the assistant manager if your fucking owner is not, you know what I mean? Like if you're the assistant manager at a Starbucks, but the manager says, we're not fucking doing that, this is going to crumble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember we all heard rumblings of like already getting in Dipoto, Epler, like he just have his hands and everything. I think that's a big problem too, is like, bro, like the manager of my Chick-fil-A, like I don't need him to know how to fucking cook chicken. I need him to know how to hire someone who knows how to cook chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, I don't need whoever owns a Chick-fil-A to cook my chicken. I need you to hire someone to cook my, like it.
Yeah.
And it's just, you can't have I don't know, but we've all heard it saying he's influenced deals. He said, do this, do that. And I think
he's very much a Jerry Jones. You know what I mean? Because Jerry Jones is like involved in everything. You know what I mean? I don't like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, Jerry Jones, I feel like I don't like the Cowboys, A, because they're fans, but B, because it's Jerry Jones. It's just like, you know, he's just in everyone's business. It's same thing with Artie. It's just like, dude, you hire this guy, let him do his job. I think every Angels fan who's knowledgeable about the situation would say this team would be way better, like in the Billy Epler era, if you would have just let Billy Epler do his thing. Because I think Epler was the right guy at the time. He made some good moves that cost us nothing. But, you know, the problem was I feel like Artie kept interjecting. It's like, dude, I understand you want Rendon. I understand you want Pujols, CJ Wilson. You want those guys? That's cool. I don't want those guys. They're not going to help us. Let the general managers do his job. And Todd had a great rant a couple nights ago in the post game about how the Angels' biggest issue is just a lack of accountability from the top down. You alluded to Artie Moreno not being involved, not being present. You know, how are you going to interject yourself to the situation yet never watch the games? You show up to the spring training games, great. That's cool. You also show up to this game and leave in the fifth inning. Yeah,
because he lives in Arizona. He's not coming to Anaheim. So it's like
exactly. That's the thing, though.
Tough.
It's like, you know, how are you going to interject yourself to this situation and not be there to actually see your product through? You know, I understand you can't make it every game, but be there for 80% of the games, at least the home games. You know what I mean? At least there's that. I mean, he was at all three of the Arizona Diamondback games when we were there.
Yeah.
He'll just, I mean, like, bro, you'll have a nice suite. You own the place. Like, literally just fucking sit there.
Dude, so my friend works for the Angels. And I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to get him in trouble.
No.
But one time he was walking around and Artie Moreno stops him asking for directions. I swear to God. He's like, how do I get to this place? And he's just like, what the, you own you own this place.
Yeah.
How do you not know how to get to, the bathroom on level 3 or whatever?
That's fucking funny.
Just like, what are you doing? How do you know how to get around the stadium? I mean, I know how to get around the stadium. I'm sure you guys do too.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's not that confusing. Just walk straight, you'll get somewhere. It's
and like I said earlier, like we're all talking shit on him, but the second he says, "Yo, like Brock's in outfield, here's full access, record here," like then he's my best friend. So
for sure,
that's that simple. It'll be the second he lets us in. It'll be like, all right, cool. I don't care who you sign now. Like fuck, like
Bring back
Oh, yeah, no.
Badoris.
That's our goal. I think is for Rocks and Outfield is I have a goal to take it to Barstool. I don't know how close or far we are, but I'll drag it there. And that because you always hear Angels are wasting trial, Angels are doing this, Angels whatever. It's like, let's put it on one person, Artie Moreno, right? Let's bring the heat on, and if he wants to deflect it to a GM or someone else, then we'll do that. But he's flying under the fucking radar. He's hiding behind the A that we all love, and the A's getting destroyed. So
it is.
So
we got about 3 minutes remaining real quick, but I do want to say for you guys, we really appreciate what you guys are doing, and we see that you guys are progressing, and if there's anything we can do to help and vice versa, we'd like to, work with you or, help you get there. Cause I think you guys have made such a good impact. There's not much to jump. We've seen the numbers, and it's basically like Locked On Angels, and they're like mostly commercials with about 15 minutes of filler. So you guys bring more content to us. So we just wanted to tell you guys we're big fans of you guys.
Oh yeah, thank you, bro.
Thank you.
It means a lot.
And if you got any,
it's
okay.
Yeah, sorry. I just think anybody that wants to do an Angels any team really, it doesn't I don't think much respect to Locked On and Angels Recap, but it's like we want to go toe to toe with those guys, and I think Carl and I know this, that if I don't want to say they have it easier. They have, it's on us to make it. It's on us to have a studio. It's not on them. Mm-hmm. But we've talked to some of the people in the Angels and whoever handles the interviews and stuff, and we've just been we're over 2005. Like we haven't gotten one. Hey, talk to this guy. Hey, we'll give you the bat boy. We haven't gotten anything. And I think they know that if they give us the same plugs that they're giving other people, that the product that they're paying for won't be relevant anymore. So it's. And that's another thing I have a problem with the organization. That's more me being selfish, but much love to those guys. But I think Carl, I can go toe to toe with whoever and anyone in the Angels world. And I'm glad to see more people like you guys come up, and it's going to put pressure on the other shows to get better and not just be 15 minutes of. Because then why would I listen to this guy if it's commercials and 15 minutes, and I can listen to these two guys just being honest,
yeah, because we all need a mattress. We need a mattress that bad, or
yeah. I just think we all put pressure on them, and that's how things change.
And you guys will get there if you guys just keep doing what you're doing. So just keep plugging away. Any final thoughts, Fernando?
No, I mean, just keep doing your thing. You guys are doing a great job over there. I subscribed to your show, and I mean, I didn't even know you guys existed prior to 2 months ago, and that's not out of disrespect. It's just out of, what I mean? Like you said, I mean, people just kind of, live in their box. I'm forced to listen to this other crap that the Angels produce. And, I really just like fans being honest. So you guys keep doing your thing, keep being an ally. We'll always cheer you guys on because you guys are, exactly what we need more of.
And we actually saw you guys on an internet thing real quick before we got out of here on the top 5 to listen to Angels podcast. So you guys were in the number 4, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yes,
I'll be number 1.
But you had.
You'll get there. You'll get there. No problem.
You guys will get there for sure. So thanks for coming on for us, man. And we definitely got to do this again. And if you guys want us on too, we'll be more than happy to come on with you.
Anytime. We'll set up a watch party or something soon after the All-Star break.
Sounds good.
There you go.
All right, guys.
Sure.
Thanks for your time.
Awesome.
Take it easy.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you guys. See
you guys.
All right.